Okay, the Cowboys may need help at linebacker. That's the only spot that when you can look at it and say to yourself, all right, we got a glaring hole at that spot still after the draft. That Damone Clark will not be available until pretty much next season. You shouldn't count on him. And then Devin Harper, he was drafted in the later rounds, and you're looking for him to be a special teams guy. It would still be a developmental curve for him. And, of course, if you go all the way back and say, okay, well, we got LVE. He will be the guy that can start at that mic role, and you should be okay with it. Well, I beg the difference. I do. The Cowboys really need to bring in another veteran linebacker to solidify this defense. And I believe that there's a guy by the name of Anthony Barr that's out there who had 3 interceptions. By the way, he's an off-ball linebacker. And on top of that, you bring him into the folds, I'm quite sure that he knows the system, especially he played under George Edwards' defense, and I'm quite sure that he can pick up whatever Dan Quinn is putting out there, regardless of the fact that they played in a 3-4 defense and now you go into a 4-3 look. I think that some of the principles will still be the same. You put him in the middle of the field. You can also move him close to the LOS, and he can get to the opposition from there. I think that Anthony Barr would be a great solution for the Cowboys. He's 6'5", 255 pounds, and he can scrape and get off, and he can find and track the ball. He's a veteran guy. I believe that the Cowboys should, hear me out, should take a real good look at Anthony Barr. Now, here's the other thing, Cowboy Nation. Anthony Hitchens, he may be the guy that the Cowboys go get. He's 6 foot, 232 pounds, and he had 1 interception last year. One can argue that, hey, he's a shell of himself. He's not the same Anthony Hitchens that left the Dallas Cowboys and went for that first 2 years in Kansas City and balled out over there. He's not that same guy. However, I think that the Cowboys may bring him in because of the price is right. And I heard news from a family member of his that, hey, he was in town and they really like him. And he said, watch out, Law. The Cowboys might sign him. And they still working out details on that. So my whole thing would be this. If you do allow the rookies, the undrafted guys, to fight for that role, like the Story Jacksons of the world, or anyone that's undrafted or somebody else to fight for their role rightfully, then you could have a better situation, in my opinion, juxtaposed to kicking the can down the road with a guy that been long in the tooth. He's 29 years of age there. And, of course, when we think of Anthony Hitchens, we think of, okay, this will be the Cowboys' way. They normally go get guys that they are familiar with, that knows the system. But here's the craziest of it all. This is not the same system that Anthony Hitchens played in. This is a whole different philosophy. So if anything, this would be a direct order from the front office, not from this particular coaching staff. Let me know if I'm wrong, but there's nobody that pretty much coach Anthony Hitchens here. But there's people in the building that coach Anthony Barr. And that should be the bar. They should go and get Anthony Barr and bring him in for a cup of coffee. I think that he would immediately bring in tenacity, temperaments of the game, and experience playing from the aspect of knowing what to do. Now, Cowboy Nation, it's always a cycling situation when you think of it, but I come here to tell you guys right now, the offseason is still long. There are still opportunities for this team to improve. News out there that James Bradberry was released, right? And he had 4 interceptions last season. Do you go with the aspect? He's a 6'1.5", corner. He's long, he's 212 pounds, 204 pounds, give or take. It's good size, a good length. That's what the Cowboys normally look for. Or should they roll the dice with the cornerbacks that they got and say to themselves, hey, we got a young situation here. And just to put this out there, Anthony Brown last season if you do the comparison analysis between Anthony Brown and James Bradberry, well, passer rating when targeted, Anthony Brown was right at 84. James Bradberry, 100. Pass breakups, Anthony Brown was at 21. James Bradberry at 18. Passing yards average netted allowed, 12.5 for James Bradberry, 7.4 for Anthony Brown. Now, I'm not saying that Anthony Brown is better than James Bradberry. No. Could be just the coach philosophy and the scheme that we ran, right? That could be the situation. Nevertheless, James Bradberry, 6'1", 212. Anthony Brown, 5'11", 204. So you do your math out of that. But James, back in the days, I don't know what his foot speed is now, but he ran a 4.5 40. Anthony Brown is a 4.3 guy. So there's cons and pros on however you look at it. But those 4 interceptions, here's a lot, right? Juxtaposed to the 3 interceptions that Anthony Brown had. And here's the other thing that I want to pull out as far as Anthony Brown versus James Bradberry. James Bradberry did give up 7 touchdowns last season. Anthony Brown gave up 5. Oh, and before you guys start talking about Trayvon Diggs give up a lot of yards, Trayvon Diggs only gave up 2 touchdowns last season. Tim Patrick, you guys remember him, and some guy on the Eagles team, I forgot. But those are only 2. So it goes back and forward. No, I'm sorry. He gave up three touchdowns last season. If you count the Kendrick Bourne from the New England Patriots. So he gave up 3 touchdowns. My bad. Apologize. So Cowboy Nation, what you gonna do? Anthony Barr or Anthony Hitchens? Do you bring in James Bradberry? I don't know what he's asking for as far as remuneration. I'm quite sure it's going to be north of $13 million. Let me pull that up while we're here. Let me pull it up. Give me 1 second here. Let me pull up. $12.1 million is what he's looking for. You paying Brown 5. So it's up to you, Cowboy Nation. You can pretty much get an extra DB for $12.1 million. Now, you can probably stretch that out over a course of 3 years, and it won't hit that much of $12 million up front. And, of course, 3-year deal for $36 million. You can spread that thing out and make sure that you put some of the money on the front end. He's a 6-year cornerback. It'd be up to the Cowboys. Let me know how you guys feel. I would definitely look into the Anthony Barr situation and scenario. Now, the only fight that you will have is who will wear number 55, right? Nah, LVE will still wear 55. Anthony Barr would have to find him another number, right? Cowboy Nation, post me your thoughts, post me your concerns down below. That's been my time. I really thank you all for yours. And remember, you're listening to nothing but the best. Go Cowboys.